I don't know. So we'll just cross the river now.
Just do it.
In there, I just
Yeah, that's fine. And just take care of your heads coming on.
Right, thanks. You go first, Paul.
There's a baby eagle on the tree, and it seems to be live, and they'll be able to fly away. Can I get any help? It's my station cat.
Welcome aboard Hector the train. We hope you enjoy this little trip. Before we go, there are just a few rules, so everyone stays safe and can enjoy this tour. Please stay seated at all times while the train is moving. Keep arms, legs and little fingers inside the carriage. And adults, please make sure all children are safely seated too. The doors must stay closed while the train is moving or is stopped between platforms, unless opened by the guard. And finally, please wait until we've come to a complete stop at the station before standing up or leaving your seat. If you have any questions, please ask the driver before the train departs the station. Thanks everyone, and enjoy the ride.
Welcome aboard our Nature Trail train. We hope you're ready for a fun trip around the park today. As we make our way around the track, you might notice that some areas are still settling in. Our railway is brand new, and while the route is already packed with amazing views and wildlife, there's still more to come. Over time, the landscaping will continue to grow, and we hope to introduce even more animals along the way. So, each time you visit, there might be something new to spot. There's so much to see during the ride. Look out for our native species, like herons, buzzards, and deer. As you pass through our beautiful mature woodland, keep an eye out for some more exotic guests too, like our lovely lemurs. If it's a sunny day, you might spot them sunbathing on the roof of their house. Our route takes you around the edge of our nature log, circling Chimp Island at the top, where you might observe our chimpanzees playing, foraging, or grooming each other. Please remember, however, the best way to see the animals is to sit safely inside the carriage and stay as quiet as possible. Look to your left and you'll see our beautiful herd or fold of Highland cows. In the winter, their long shaggy coats help to keep them warm, and they use their impressive horns to dig through the snow and ice to find food. In sunnier weather, they shed their winter coats, and you might spot long clumps of hair along the fences where they love to scratch. Highland cattle are originally from the west coast of Scotland and are one of the oldest registered breeds of cattle in the world. Our first Highland cattle came to Blair Drummond in 2022. They're a very friendly breed and have become a firm favourite with our keepers. And of course, lots of cows means lots of cow pats. You might be able to smell it already, but that big container on your left is where we keep all the manure from the park. Ooh-wee! Coming up on your right is Lemurland. The majority of lemur species are arboreal, meaning they live in the trees. Lemurs are very good at camouflaging themselves, but if you look carefully, you might see some of our black and white ruffed lemurs on the roof or in the trees. Lemurland is also home to our ring-tailed lemurs, brown lemurs, and crowned lemurs. Lemurs are primates, like us, and are very intelligent. They're under serious threat in the wild because of deforestation and the illegal pet trade, and now rank as the world's most endangered mammal. We have established a lemur breeding program here at Blair Drummond, and through our fundraising initiative, Link to the Wild, we support Feed Back Madagascar, a community project that works to protect wild populations of lemurs and promote sustainable modes of farming in Madagascar. You can view our lemurs as they roam freely around you in our walk-through habitat at Lemurland. But please remember, these are wild animals, so even if the lemurs approach you, do not feed or touch them. As we travel through the woods, keep an eye out for all the native birds and plants. We often see deer, herons, buzzards, and red squirrels. And if you spot a flash of blue or green in the trees, it might be a kingfisher. This colourful little bird likes to perch in the branches and watch the water for fish. The water here is also a hot spot for frogs and toads. Our native plant life attracts plenty of insects for them to feed on, and they return each year to breed. In the spring, you can spot their frog spawn and tadpoles in the water. In the spring and summer months, the forest floor is covered with plants and flowers. We plant as many bee-friendly species as possible to encourage pollination. If you're interested in encouraging pollinators to your own garden, we have some fun, bee-friendly seed products in our gift shop, like plantable seed balls that sprout into flowers. As we approach the top of the loch, you can see where our chimpanzees live on their very own private island. This unique habitat gives them different kinds of terrain to explore and allows them to display many natural behaviours, such as grooming, hunting, and foraging for food. Our chimps are free to come and go as they please, so if you don't see them on the island, they will be relaxing in their house. As we approach the island, please stay as quiet and still as possible. This will give you the best chance of spotting our chimps. Although we feed our chimps a mostly vegetarian diet, they are omnivores and will also eat meat sometimes. Birch trees and blackberry bushes offer further wild food sources, and there are different weeds, grasses, and leaves for them to forage all year round. They also have a range of platforms and enrichment devices in the trees, which are specially designed to help keep them mentally stimulated and encourage them to climb and exercise. Our keepers provide different enrichment for the chimps every day, and you'll be able to see some of these hanging from the trees and hidden in the bushes. You might also spot our catapult. We use this to launch different foods onto the island for the chimps to find. The use of the catapult means we can launch things quickly in different directions so they're well hidden from the chimps, encouraging ground level foraging. Sometimes you'll see the chimps grouped together, and sometimes taking a bit of time on their own. It's important for chimp communities to have this freedom, and that's why we give our animals access to both the indoor and outdoor spaces. The chimps can access their indoor area via the bridge. This is important because chimps cannot swim. Chimps have a lot in common with us. They are highly intelligent animals and are able to use tools like leaves and sticks to solve problems. You might also see them walking upright sometimes. This is called bipedalism. Chimps can be very territorial animals, and giving them more freedom within their habitat helps them to feel safe and secure. So please, when you're passing the island, be respectful of their breed. As we travel around the far side of the loch, you'll see the impressive sight of Blair Drummond House, which was owned by the Muir family between 1916 and 1977. The house is now a residential home for adults with learning disabilities, run by the Camp Home Trust. Blair Blair Drummond Safari Park was first opened to the public in the 1970s, and it's still owned and run by the Muir family to this day. In fact, this train is named after Hector Muir, our managing director. The park and all the vital work we do is entirely privately funded. And through our fundraising initiative, Linked to the Wild, we also support a range of grassroots conservation projects around the world. One of these is the Malindi Chimpanzee and Community Project, which works with local communities in western Uganda to combat deforestation and help humans and chimpanzees coexist more easily. Chimpanzee populations in Africa are plummeting. As human populations grow rapidly, chimpanzees can become squeezed into shrinking forests surrounded by people. The Malindi chimpanzees in Uganda are struggling under these conditions, and education is a vital part of helping them survive. The natural world around us is facing some very big challenges at the moment, but with your help, we aim to make a difference every day in everything we do. If you'd like to show your support for our projects here and abroad, you can donate to Link to the Wild at the end of this train journey, or at various pay points around the park. We can't do any of this work without you, and we really appreciate your support. We hope you've enjoyed your trip.
Thank you all very much for coming. For your safety, stay in the seats, please. I'll open your doors and you will exit platform 1.
She's coming, look.
afternoon, everyone. Welcome down to California Cove, where you've joined us for our sea lion demonstration. Now we have California sea lions here at the park. They can be found in California, but they also range from Canada all the way to Mexico. Now let's get you introduced to who we have here. Well, to the left of me is Oscar. He is our big breeding bull, giving you a nice big wave there. And then with me today are his two girlfriends, Inika and Lucy. And I've also got a 2-year-old Barney and little Nessie at the front. Now, we've got a very special demonstration happening at the moment because Otis, the little one over there, Oscar's son, is going to show you some things about seals and sea lions and a little bit about training as well. And this is the first couple of times he's done this, so let's give him lots of encouragement as it is his first time doing it. Now you can see our trainer has got something called a target stick, and all a target stick is an extension of your arm. You'll see that every time Otis touches the ball in the end, that's when he gets a big tasty fish. And that training technique is called positive reinforcement, which means every time he does something right, well, he's going to get a big tasty fish to say, job well done. Now we do lots of training with these guys every single day, but the most important training we do here is their husbandry behaviour. Now all husbandry is just one big health check. Every morning we need to check that these guys are as healthy as can be in our care. So the first thing Otis is going to show you is how we open their mouths. We'll ask them to open their mouths and show us their teeth, and we need to check over his teeth, his gum, his tongues, his whiskers, and even his eyes. Need to make sure there's no cloudiness in his eyeballs. You might see that his teeth are black in colour, and that's really healthy for a sea lion. Maybe not so healthy for us humans. So we've got a little mouth. Oscar's is much, much bigger. Now the next thing we'll ask them to do is show us his flippers, because that's how they move around on land all day, so we need to check for any scrapes or scratches on them. And then the behaviour that takes the most trust between ourselves and the sea lions is just to ask him to lie down, as Otis is showing you now. And we can give them a little touch, make sure there's no cuts, abrasions, nasty lumps or bumps, anything that we should really, really be concerned about. And that's what we do every morning with them. It's the first thing we do. It's high on our priority list to make sure that these guys are as healthy as can be. Now Otis is going to move on to another topic here, that our sea lions are very passionate about. And it is every single day people come here and they will call them seals. Yes, Otis, it's very embarrassing, isn't it? So we're going to teach you the differences between seals and sea lions to make sure that we're all going to call them sea lions, because that is what they are. So the first difference is very, very small, but it is on the side of their head. It's these little sticky out ears you can hopefully see on Otis. They stick out a little bit like Shrek ears if you've ever seen that movie. Whereas if you were looking at a seal, they have internal ears, which is just a hole either side of their head. So you wouldn't see any sticky out ears if you were looking at a seal. Now the next difference, a little bit more obvious, is the size of their big gorgeous foreflippers. Now Otis has still got puny little foreflippers compared to Oscar, his daddy's, but they are far bigger than seals. You can walk around, you can run around, and you can also spin, and you can jump, and you can even climb, which helps with their agility. Good job, Otis, showing you a little spin and a little jump there, very, very nice. Now the last difference between seals and sea lions is actually the way they move. Seals have a fixed hip joint, which Otis is giving you a perfect demonstration of how a seal would move around. It's a little bit slower, a little bit like a slug or a caterpillar. And that's the differences between the two. Their ears, the size of their flippers, and the way they move. So hopefully now we can all call these guys sea lions, as that is what they are. Now we're going to make the boys go inside for this bit, and Oscar is going to take over because this can get where it's going to get a little bit scary. We're going to talk about predators. So what do we think hunts seals and sea lions over in California? If you look at Oscar's foreflipper there, that's your clue right there. Now I want you to shout out what you think it is. I want to hear you what you think it is. They also have big shark teeth as well. So if you're thinking sharks, you would be correct. Sharks and killer whales, also known as orcas, is what predates on seals and sea lions. Now, if you wanted to get away from that shark and not get eaten, well, the safest place to be is on land. If you find land, you have found your safety. As we know, sharks haven't evolved to come onto land yet like these guys, so that is your safest bet. But that's not always possible though. If you spotted a shark on your tail, well, you're going to have to get your best swimming technique on to get away, and this is called porpoising. This is when Oscar pushes his body in and out of the water at high speeds. He can get up to 25 kilometers per hour doing this type of swimming. He is faster than all of us here. We would never ever win in a race against a sea lion. And their eyes can actually move independently from one another. One eye is scanning for land and for safety, and the other eye is keeping an eye for that predator, making sure that shark's not getting too close to him. Another thing you can do to create a distraction is make a lot of white water. You can do this by splashing around, just as Oscar is showing you. And that's really, really distracting for a predator that's hunting you from below. Sharks look up at the top of the water to see what they can eat. Well, if you're making all this white water, well, that's really, really distracting. And if all else fails, well, sea lions can actually get their whole body out of the water, up to 3 meters high. So if, yeah, Oscar, you can do a real impressive jump and a nice high five. So if we look at the ball above the pool there, Oscar's going to give it his best shot and hits it. Well done, Oscar. Now, he's our biggest sea lion, so he creates the biggest splash of them all. And that's you pretty much gotten away from that shark. Now, unfortunately, there is another predator out there, one that's causing a lot of pollution, rising water temperatures and overfishing. And unfortunately, guys, that is us humans. We are a pretty bad predator out there. And all we need to do is try a little bit harder and care a little bit more. So we thought it would be good to teach Oscar how to recycle, so that he can teach us all how to do it as well. Now, our trainer is going to be very careless and throw a bit of plastic into Oscar's pool. Now, he knows which bin it goes in, and it is, of course, the recycling bin. Now, it's very sunny, but when he does get it in, we can give him a big, nice round of applause for recycling. Oh, good job, Oscar. Teaching everybody how to look after our planet properly. Now, if you take anything away from today, please remember it is predicted that by 2050, so not far away at all, there will be more plastic in our oceans than fish, and that is really, really scary. Sea lions have been around for hundreds and thousands of years. Plastic hasn't even been around for a fraction of that time, and it's already taking over our oceans. It's very embarrassing, Oscar, isn't it? So if we all did our bit and recycled, it does help these guys massively. Now, I think Oscar's done a fantastic job here today, giving himself a round of applause. We'll let him get back to his girlfriends now and enjoy the sun. Well, we've all enjoyed it. We do have another demonstration at 3 o'clock if you fancy coming along. But thank you so much from myself, the Sea Lions, and the rest of the team. Have a wonderful rest of your day here at Blair Drummond.
Very good, well done. You're having a guide here, Tanya.
I know where to go.
Yeah.
I'll feed.
Okay,
Just wait for the...
would you like seeing a sea lion with your name?
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome down to our flying arena for our bird of prey display. And it's nice to see we've got a few people here in our arena on this lovely sunny day to hopefully watch our birds do some brilliant flying. Now, in this second bird of prey display, we'll be meeting 3 different birds we've got here at our centre. But before we introduce you to any of them, I'm just going to go over our general rules just to keep you guys and the birds safe and comfortable. Particularly with the first bird, mainly because she's still quite nervous. She's only been flying with us since March in our displays, and so to keep her confidence building, we rely on our audiences to be nice and calm, not lifting up your hands and not reaching out to her. That way, she should have a positive experience. And again, with our last bird, he is a professional, however, he does come very close over the tops of people's heads. He spots the gaps between you before he goes for them, and I promise he knows exactly what he's doing and where he's going, but if you stand up at the last second, don't blame us or him if he does go into the back of your head there. Other than that though, if any of them land on the benches, just keep your hands to yourselves. Again, they will take off and rejoin the display. Now this display will go on for around about half an hour. You're more than welcome to get up and leave at any point during it. However, if you do, again, don't walk in front of any of the birds flying past because they might not be able to dodge out the way at that last second. Now, as I said, this is our bird of prey display. However, the first bird we're meeting, she's not actually a bird of prey. She is the only exception in our centre of birds of prey, and she is actually predatory, so she does kill things out there in the wild, and she's also a meat eater, so she's completely carnivorous. However, for many other reasons, she's not technically classed as a bird of prey, reasons which you will see when she makes her entrance down from that track there. Now, the first bird, if you have walked around our centre, you may have spotted her before. She is called Kylo, and Kylo, she is a laughing kookaburra. Now, we do have 2 kookaburras in our centre, Kylo and also her sister, Jabba. Jabba is still a little bit more on the nervous end. She's not quite as confident as Kylo at the moment, so we're just starting off with Kylo in our displays. Now, she is quite a young kookaburra. I do think she's only around 2 years old. So again, this is all still a little bit new for her. She's doing brilliantly since we opened in March. However, we are just hoping we can build that confidence a little bit more. Now, as I said, this here is Kylo, and she is our laughing kookaburra. Now, laughing kookaburras, they are actually the largest members of the kingfisher family. So here in the UK, we have those colourful kingfishers that live near lakes and rivers. Kookaburras, they are part of that same family branch there. And there is 4 types of kookaburras, all of which you find in Australia and New Guinea. The laughing kookaburra, though, for reasons that are quite obvious with the noise Kylo's making, are often the most well known. Now, as I said, even though Kylo is a meat eater and she does kill prey in the wild, she's not classed as a bird of prey. The reasons for that is when you look at her, you can see she doesn't have a hooked beak, she just has a straight beak, and also she lacks those hooked talons like birds of prey do. Not only that though, but unlike birds of prey, kookaburras, they catch their prey using their beaks. Whereas birds of prey, like our eagles at the top there, they catch prey using their feet and talons. As Kylo's going to demonstrate, these guys, they catch prey just using those accurate beaks of theirs. And they'll do that with small things like insects out of the sky. They'll literally just pluck that little bug right out of mid-air. Now, she is being extra chatty in this arena here today. I will say this is quite lucky to hear Kylo make so many vocalizations. Usually she's quite quiet. Maybe the sunny weather has brought her up a little bit in her mood. Now, after things like fish, just like kingfishers do. Also very small mammals and birds, if they get the opportunity, as well as things like amphibians and reptiles. Now, they will catch a whole variety of prey sizes, again, small bugs. However, one of the biggest things that kookaburras will predate on is actually snakes. Now, as you can imagine, in Australia, a lot of snakes that you can find hanging around, they are very, very venomous. So they're very dangerous to other animals. But kookaburras here, they have got a clever way to quickly attack and kill a snake. If there was a snake on a branch somewhere and Kylo spotted it, she would swoop down, grab that snake around the back of the neck, and then whack it really hard against a perch or a rock until she's quickly managed to kill it. And then she would swallow that snake entirely whole. Unlike birds of prey who rip up their food, kookaburras, they swallow their food whole. Now, she does have some very impressively strong neck muscles, so even though she's only a small bird, weighing 300 grams, those neck muscles there do mean that she can whack things like snakes with a very impressive force. Usually it's things like tree snakes or brown snakes, again, that you'd find in the forests of Australia. Now, here in this arena today, Kylo is just getting very small pieces of meat off of me and Craig. And even though the pieces of food she's eating are very, very small, you might notice sometimes she has a little bit of trouble eating them. And that's because, unfortunately for Kylo and other kookaburras, they have ridiculously short tongues. Kylo's tongue is only a fifth of the length of her beak. So that long beak there, her tongue is only about this long. So if she gets a bit of food stuck on the edge of her beak, unlike us, she can't use her tongue to lick it free. Instead, she has to jut her head back to try and swallow it, or she'll flick her head side to side or whack it against a perch, just again to try and get that little piece of food down her throat. Now, again, laughing kookaburras, the reason they're so well known in the world of birds is that comical laughing call they make. And in the wild, that call is actually a territorial call. Now, often you'll hear kookaburras calling out at dawn and dusk, and this is given it the nickname the crepuscular chorus. And again, they're calling out at dawn in order to mark their territory, to let other kookaburras and other birds know this is their home and they need to get out. Now, here at Blair Drummond, as you can see, Kylo, she will occasionally call out, whether it's in this arena or in her aviary. And 90% of the time when Kylo calls out, it is because she spotted something like a buzzard or another bird in the area. So I always say, keep your eyes above your heads. If you ever hear our kookaburra calling out, she's probably spotted something that we haven't flying overhead. Just like that wild kookaburra, this is her home, her territory, and again, that's her way of letting other animals know that they need to stay out. Other than that though, she has done a lovely job for us. Again, Kylo's only been doing these displays since March when we opened, but she is doing a brilliant job, and we're hoping these smaller audiences will build her up for summertime when we have lots and lots of people. Now, I will admit to you, we are slightly short-staffed today. It is just myself and Craig. And Craig there has got the very important job of making sure Kylo gets home nice and safe. Because the next bird we're about to meet is a bird of prey. And like birds of prey, a kookaburra could be on the menu for him. So we're just going to leave it a little while just to make sure Craig there makes it safely back to Kylo's aviary. And once he gives me the go-ahead, I can I'll introduce you to our next bird. Now, as I said, Kylo is the only exception in this bird of prey display. The next few birds we'll be meeting, they are definitely birds of prey. And the next one we're going to introduce you to, he is definitely the most predatory bird we have here at our centre. If you know birds of prey well, you might recognise this bird as soon as he makes his entrance there. They are very popular in the world of falconers and also in flying displays, as well as certain working industries that involve birds of prey. Now this here is Aaron, and Aaron, he is a Harris horn. Now, as I said, you've got a good comparison to our kookaburra. Aaron, he's got really curved talons and he's got a curved beak. So again, that's what I meant by our kookaburra not being classed as a bird of prey. Birds of prey, they've got those hooked beaks there. Now, as I said though, Harris hawks, they are very popular with falconers and in flying displays all across the globe because they are highly intelligent, very adaptable, also social birds, so they're quite easy to train. Now, Aaron here, he is a male hawk, and Harris hawks, they are native to the Americas. So you would find them across parts of North, Central, and into South America. And they will live in a whole host of habitats, whether it be open grassland, desert, forest, jungle, and even now in modern day, you can see them hanging around towns and cities, like a lot of other wildlife across the globe. Now, again, Harris hawks, they are very adaptable birds. And as I said before I let him out, they are also very, very prey driven. They have an incredibly high prey drive and will quite literally go after anything they set their sights on. Whether it's a mammal on the ground, a bird in the air, or a reptile on the rocks, there's really not a challenge too big for one of these hawks to try and take on. Now, they are known as the jack of all trades in the bird world because they're pretty much good at everything. They're much so an all-rounder bird. They're very agile, they're very quick, very strong, and again, very intelligent. So they're quite an all-rounder bird when it comes to birds of prey. Now, even though they are excellent all on their own, Harris hawks, they are even better when they work together in a family group. And they are one of the only birds of prey in the world who actively hunts and lives together in family groups. And this has gained them the name, the wolves of the sky. Now, when you have a group of about 5 to 7 hawks all working together to catch one prey item, not only are they a lot more successful at catching prey, but also they can catch much bigger prey. Now, on his own, Aaron could easily take down something the size of a pigeon or a rat. In those family groups, though, they'll catch anything up to the size of a jackrabbit, other large mammal species, even other birds of prey. And again, they don't just hunt, they also live together in those groups. They've got that social dynamic. Now, in these group hunts, they are very good at outwitting their prey. Often they'll take it in turns chasing prey. That way, if one of the hawks gets tired and flying around, the rest of the group, they'll carry on that hunt till finally they warn prey down. Something else they'll do, though, is flush out prey, which I think is very clever. If there was a rabbit hiding in this burrow here, and one of the hawks headed in the entrance, they would scare that rabbit in the opposite direction, and the rest of the group would just sit in wait at that exit there. So they literally get that element of surprise. Now, by living together in these family groups, it does also mean they have safety in numbers. It's hard to believe, but out there in the Americas, like all animals, there are certain predators that will go after a Harris hawk. Things like larger birds of prey, certain owl species, as well as coyote and frozen ravens trying to steal Harris hawk eggs. So they still have a few predators they've got to be wary of, but if you've got